See, everyone remembers Star Wars and Star Trek. But see, there's other sci-fi voices of shows and people that we might forget. So if you hadn't thought of Dollhouse, Classic Battlestar, or Babylon 5 in a while, you gotta listen in. It's a sci-fi diner classic, voices from a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. It's a sci-fi diner classic, bringing you voices from the past. No, we ain't hero things. It's a sci-fi diner classic, don't give me no news, just give me interviews and nothing else. No, nothing else.
Welcome back to the Sci-Fi Diner Classic, the place where we take old interviews and we bring them back to you because we feel that these interviews are important. They let you know a little bit about some of the people that are involved with the genre work. And the news that we did with the original interview is maybe no longer important, so we just strip out the news, strip out the trivia, and we're giving you just the interviews, and nothing else. I feel like Dragnet. The Dragnet quote, just do facts, man, just the facts, or wherever that comes from. But this is an interview that we did with Hayden Black. Have you never heard of Hayden Black before? You obviously are not watching Goodnight Burbank, which is a show that he produces and is still producing as of 2011 and is some good stuff. We actually interviewed Hayden Black because he was doing a show called The Cabonauts, which was like a taxi cab in space. It was kind of fun looking. And we'd found out about this through Miracle Laurie, who of course was on Dollhouse, and we'd interviewed her at Shore Leave Con and then got hooked up with Hayden Black because of it. Cabonauts never released. I don't believe we ever got a pilot out. I know they shot a pilot, but I don't think it was ever released. And we've never seen a series come out of it, but he's still doing work on Goodnight Burbank, which he talks about in this interview. So if you've never heard of Hayden Black, he's a guy that you should check out. If you've never watched Goodnight Burbank, you should check it out. Not necessarily sci-fi related, but it's a fun, rollicking show nonetheless. So here's our interview with Hayden Black.
Take a ride with the world's first ever sci-fi musical comedy. Take a ride with the Cabonauts.
This is Scarred 27. Not only is Cyril McTavish my best friend, but he's also the greatest cab instructor ever. For getting me a job, he should get a promotion, a raise, and 3 hot blondes who like to diddle his goods.
Oh, can you not do that? Because if that goes out...
It's not on.
All right, then. Well, let's just get to today's lesson.
Set in a space cab, Goodnight Burbank's Hayden Black and Star Trek's Nichelle Nichols anchor a cast that's truly out of this world.
I have a board meeting. We can pick this up later.
After lunch?
There he goes again. Farmers don't talk about food as much as he does.
Guest stars from iconic sci-fi shows like Buffy, Dollhouse, and more are signing up to take a ride in a series that's taking the world of web video to a new dimension.
So that's the one you've been crushing on. She's hot, Doodle. But how would that even work? Or she's just intelligence software.
I'm sure there's a socket somewhere I could plug something into.
And in the middle of each episode, an original music video featuring your favorite sci-fi superstars singing and dancing.
It's about Thailand, we women drink wine and feel free to eat lots of sushi.
Think Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy meets Taxicab Confessions meets Flight of the Conchords for a sordid threesome, and you're halfway there.
I just got married myself last month. My wife's already talking babies.
Calling you one isn't the same thing.
The Cabonauts, coming this fall to Daily Motion.
Can either of you deliver a baby?
Depends on where you want it going. I'm still trying to figure out where Blurg is.
Well, why don't you briefly tell us about yourself for people who may not know who Hayden Black is, and or your production company, and who is the real Hayden Black? I am pronouncing your name correctly, right? Hayden?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, let's see. I was in on-air promos, slaving away doing, promoting other people's shows for the networks here in Los Angeles, and it's just a soul-destroying job. But I'd always wanted to write and direct and produce my own stuff. And 4 years ago, I quit, and it was I think March 2006. I launched a show called Goodnight Burbank, which is a comedy about people who bring us the news while they're bringing it. And so I found myself acting in that. I had never acted in my entire life. And it was fun. It was, just doing all of it, really, doing all the elements that go with doing a show. And it got really successful really quickly, And so about a year and a half later, I thought, let me try another show, another comedy called Abigail's Teen Diary. And that was about a 13-year-old girl who has a fictional genetic condition that gives her the appearance of a guy in his 30s. And so I played Abigail.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Each episode was the Goodnight Burbanks are about six minutes or so, and take place in a fictional newsroom. Abigail, they're ostensibly the little monologues, like she talks about her day, and so those are pretty short. They're like a minute and a half and stuff. And then last year we approached Daily Motion about this doing a sci-fi musical comedy. Because they were looking to do their first original series. And they went through over 100 pitches, and apparently we were like the only one that made them laugh.
That's good.
We went ahead and, we did the deal with them, and then after we put the deal together, we started to sign all these big names to be a part of it. And so the show itself, very briefly, it's set in a space cab. I play the cab instructor. Norm Thurming plays the driver. We're both old friends. We're now working together. But I'm teaching him how to drive this cab. And Nichelle Nichols, Uhura from Star Trek, a living legend. Nikki plays CJ, the CEO of the Cabonauts. And in each episode, we take passengers there and back. And they're going to be played by actors and actresses from, iconic sci-fi TV series and movies. So in the pilot, as you know, we've got Miracle Laurie from Dollhouse and James C. Leary from Buffy. And we're lining up lots more people for future episodes. Some we can talk about, some we can't, but we got people from Heroes, Battlestar Galactica, Lost. We just put up a video with John Barrowman from Torchwood saying he's going to be doing an episode. And plenty more people too. It's really exciting and pretty surreal.
I'll bet that has to be like how's this all coming together type of a feeling.
I think it's part of it is the idea, because in the middle of every episode we break into an original song and dance. The music's going to be kind of 80s synth pop sounding.
I saw that.
The show takes place in 2183, so it's kind of the 80s all over again anyway. And so I think a lot of actors and actresses would really like the opportunity to kind of stretch some legs that they don't normally get to do. And, the scripts seem just fun, breezy. They're about 10 minutes each. And so it's, we can shoot with the guest cast in a day, and get everything we need. So the other weird thing is kind of like every time I look up, the planets are aligning, with this project. More and more people are getting interested, and it's phenomenal. And I'm hoping it lasts as long as it can.
Yeah. So the musical part of the show, then, is it the musical number in the middle? Is that kind of what makes it the musical part of the sci-fi comedy? It's part of the compost. Yeah, it's an interesting kind of blend of genres. I mean, the closest that we've gotten to this has been Dr. Horrible, which isn't really well, it's musical, and I guess there's something comedy, but it's not really a show. It's more of a movie, right?
This is a scripted series. This is more aligning with Flight of the Conchords, or if you're familiar with a UK show called The Mighty Boosh, where they kind of break into song as well. The lyrics kind of are informed by the storyline for that episode. We're going to be reaching out to professional musicians, songwriters, producers to remix each track that we'll also make available on iTunes with each episode. So you can get like a CD single of all of these different remixes.
Oh, that'll be awesome. That'll be great. Wow. Well,
if you like synth pop music, I mean, obviously it's all going to be very subjective.
Right. Now, you mentioned, too, that it's kind of it's a blend between Flight of the Conchords and Hitchhiker's Guide, right? And I saw the Hitchhiker's Guide element in that just in the little clip of the trailer that you have. The humor and everything is kind of that way.
Douglas Adams was definitely the main influence on me as a writer when I was a kid. When I was 12 or 13 and discovering Hitchhikers for the first time, it really influenced me greatly. And in fact, actually, the idea for the Cabonauts stemmed from an idea that I had when I was 15 years old. And I started writing a sci-fi novel with Cyril and Harry in it. And they ran a cargo trucking company. It was very much influenced by Douglas Adams and his style.
Wow.
And, it was kind of resurrected a year or so ago and developed in a different direction. So instead of a cargo trucking company, it's a cab company. I mean, it's kind of similar.
Right.
But Douglas Adams definitely has been a huge influence.
Well, our show, we just got done rebranding our show a couple weeks ago, and originally our show was called Dining at the End of the Universe, which was a spoof on the whole restaurant at the end of the universe that Adams did. So we have that connection there too. But I loved Adams' works. He was just I felt that Adams, when he wrote, while it was humorous, there was such a satire on society and who they were and what we do as society. I mean,
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the radio show for Hitchhikers was so superior ultimately to, I think, anything else he did within that format. The thing that kind of, sadly, if I can be critical for a second, that bothered me about his writing was that, he had this great sense, the style and his prose of humanizing everything, the way, sunlight would crawl into a room, for example, he would humanize that. And it was fun to read, but I think a lot of the dialogue he wrote for the characters, and I'm talking like in the Dirk Gently books and stuff, started to kind of mirror it, and I didn't find it as fun or as interesting as the Hitchhiker stuff.
Right. Well, nonetheless, he still remains an iconic writer.
Hugely so. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned earlier that we obviously have the pilot done as an episode. You're premiering it at this next week's Comic-Con in Chicago, right? How many episodes do you have down and done and complete at this point?
Oh, no, just the pilot. We're going to do 15 episodes total for season 1. And the minute Daily Motion get advertisers on board and we get an episodic order, we'll go to full series.
Okay, very, very good. That's awesome. So are they planned out sort of 15, or you just know they're just going to be 15 at this point?
No, there's some storylines already planned out. The first 5 total are already written. We have, there's definitely writing story arcs for the entire season. Right. So there'll be some fun surprises.
And when does the season premiere?
It all depends on the episodic order. It'll be mid to late October, we're guessing.
Okay. All right. Because I wasn't sure. I didn't see a release date when I was checking the website out. So
you're wearing a lot of hats as far as the work you're doing for this show. Are you doing the majority of the writing, or are you having anybody else help with the writing?
I'm doing all the writing.
Okay.
So you're the writing, you're the producer, you're doing some of the music as well?
I'm doing all the music. I'm directing. I'm acting. I'm having a heart attack probably from all the work. that we're doing.
Do you sleep?
Yeah. I'm also pitching this stuff. I mean, we got Erin Gray to come on board and do casting for us. So there are some, wonderfully talented people that are out there helping with some other aspects of it. But I guess it's because I just have a very particular vision, and I want to see it through, and hopefully it works. I could be terribly mistaken.
Well, it seemed humorous. Just from the little bit that we saw off the trailer, it seemed humorous. It's something I'm definitely going to check out when I get to see the pilot, and who knows, maybe some of the others. But
was that Erin Gray who was in Buck Rogers?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Erin, Wilma Deering. She runs a company called Heroes for Hire that basically represent a lot of genre actors and actresses, sci-fi, fantasy, horror for speaking engagements and conventions. And we were introduced to her, I guess at the end of last year, like November, December, and we finally got together in January. And she said, well, I've never cast a show before. And I said, that's okay. We've never done a sci-fi comedy musical. So, are you in? And bless her, she's in. And she's really enjoying it so far. We went and had drinks during Comic-Con last week, the San Diego Comic-Con. And she said she was pleasantly surprised how much fun she was having.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like you had quite an audience there. You had 6,000 people kind of view it was the trailer, right?
That was phenomenal. We got into the Masquerade Ball, and Nichelle, bless her, said, if you want me to introduce it on stage, I will. And I was, how could you turn that down? Mm-hmm. And they didn't. And we went there, and by the way, just as an aside, the costumes at this Masquerade Ball were phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it. And we do have a bunch on video. And at some point, we'll put up a little video just to behind the scenes of some of these costumes. But it was great. Yeah, Nichelle, they said to us beforehand, they said they're very vocal here at the Masquerade Ball, and they'll let you know if they don't like it. So you guys should be prepared.
So you're like crossing your fingers.
Yeah, we steeled ourselves, and it went down a storm. People were laughing and ultimately cheering at the end of it. So that was just absolutely fantastic.
Well, that had to be a good feeling to have that under your belt and have that kind of positive, urging to keep moving forward with this project.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just I got to remind myself that it's at the end of the day, as is everything, it is subjective. It's a specific style of comedy that is subjective. The music is subjective. We just hope that enough people like it,
Right, for it to continue on and so on. Now, you mentioned that Gray was booking. She obviously got you Miracle Laureate, and you mentioned some of these shows that of actors you've on. Can you give us any names? I know you can't give me everything, but any names at all, the people that you're going to have on future episodes?
I mentioned John Barrowman from Torchwood, right. Captain Jack. He'll be doing it probably actually not till the new year, because it all boils down to his schedule and when he's coming back to the U.S. One other name I can give you is David Lawrence, who plays Eric Doyle, the puppeteer in Lost. Heroes, excuse me.
In Heroes, yeah.
He will be playing, David will be playing a gay space pirate.
That would be good.
Who commandeers the Scarab, which is the name of the ship in the Cabonauts.
He'll do that well. He'll carry out that role.
He'll do amazing.
Yeah, and he was great in Heroes, man. I love seeing him in Heroes.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal guy.
Yeah. Talking about Torchwood, did you see Children of Earth?
I did.
Then what did you think?
I did. You know what? I love. Overall, I loved it. I thought it was when they said, we want 10% of your children. I thought, oh, how brilliant, how original. This is kind of cool. And then they ratcheted it up and said, because we want to use them. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but when they said what they wanted the kids for, my mouth hit the ground. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
I thought episode 5, there was a little bit of running around going on that they probably could have ended it in 4 episodes. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it.
It was. They of course on BBC America they showed those 5 episodes, and then they showed Doctor Who: Planet of the Dead on Sunday, and
I watched all of them, and because I'm a huge Who fan, and I watched Torchwood for the most part of the 2 seasons it aired. I did feel that Torchwood felt really dark and heavy compared to some of the other Torchwood episodes I'm used to seeing. I did think that the scripting was very good, and I thought that the first couple of episodes, episodes 1, 2, and 3 especially, kept me really engaged to what was going on.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I liked it. I do, and I really like Barrowman as an actor. So,
yeah, I'd have to say overall it was pretty damn good. I think there were some scenes in episode 5 where it seemed that they were just playing for time.
Yeah.
And you know what? I did have one problem with basically them assaulting the building where the aliens were, marching in and saying, "We're here. If you want to fight, we're right here." And they released some poison smoke, and it was like, "No, we've given up." That was a little bizarre, but it was a good, entertaining fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and if you walk away entertained, Miles and I always say, if you walk away from a film entertained, I mean, what more can you ask for? I mean, You can pick it apart at the end of the day, but ultimately, was it worth your $10 at the theater? Was it worth your hour and a half, watching in front of the TV? And if it was, if you enjoyed it, okay.
You're right, and because there's so much stuff out there that you can do so much stuff with your time, whether you're watching TV or video gaming or on the internet or whatever. So I think something has to be incredibly special to grab your attention these days.
You mentioned Aaron Gray. I had the opportunity to meet Aaron Gray at a sci-fi convention back in 2008. Yeah, it was. She did a small con on the East Coast called Farpoint, but no, she was a class act. And when we were there wasn't a lot of people, so we got some nice one-on-one time with her, and I had a chance to meet Michelle Nichols at a sci-fi convention about 10, 11 years ago, and very, very pleasant, very gracious lady. So that's really cool that you have her.
They're both absolutely lovely, and I know it sounds like a cliche to talk about how wonderful people that you work with are, but it's all true. But both of them are just incredibly professional, incredibly graceful. We shot with Michelle a bunch of scenes in one day a couple months ago, and she's got more energy than people half her age. She's just and gracious and smiling constantly. Just an absolute. Well, both of them absolute class acts, and I bless my stars every day that I'm lucky enough to be working with them.
Mm-hmm. Now we see Nichelle singing and dancing in your trailer here. So is that something we can see more of?
Yeah, Nichelle's in every episode, and so she will be singing and dancing in every episode, along with the entire cast, including the guest cast. I mean, working with Miracle and James, I didn't meet Miracle until she, showed up at the studio the day we were shooting, and because everything gone through Aaron, and Miracle was fantastic, absolutely amazing. James, I knew James through a mutual friend. We'd been at some barbecues together, and I had absolutely no idea he'd been in Buffy.
What did he do in Buffy? I was trying to remember.
He played Clem, the blue-skinned demon. I guess he ate kittens.
Charming.
He was on the show for a couple of years. I think it was 2001 through 2003.
Okay.
And I'd met James at some barbecues and had no idea that he was a kitten-eating demon.
No.
And then I think Aaron actually brought it up, and I said, Jimmy Leary? And I didn't know why. Why do you know? Why would you know Jimmy Leary? And then I found out. I'm like, oh, and he was fantastic. Okay. It was a great day. We got interviews shot that we'll be putting up on the web later. We did photo shoots. We recorded their audio for the track. We got them dancing in the video, and of course we got the scenes.
Right. That sounds like fun. And Miracle, just from our experience with Miracle was just so down to earth and so easy to work with. Just as we were interviewing her, and just she's great, very giving.
She's good, folks. Yes, yeah. She's great,
and she could sing and dance.
Yep. In fact, we have a video on our YouTube page of her doing this little hula dance that she does.
Oh yeah, we got like a little bit of that while we were dancing, while we were shooting the dancing. We got her to do some of that, but she's just absolutely amazing. And, you know, there's talk of a Wonder Woman movie. You know, Miracle should nail that job, that role.
There was rumor flying around Twitter about that, but, you know, she didn't know anything about it.
I will happily contribute to the rumor because she is fantastic and deserves it. And she looks it, and she's got, you know.
Yeah, she definitely fit the role.
Yeah.
We should start a trending topic in Twitter that, you know, Miracle Laurie for Wonder Woman.
Kind of resembles Linda Carter a little bit. I mean,
she has Linda Carter's eyes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
And she's tall, so I mean, she can definitely, you know, kick butt and take names. I mean,
right.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember telling her that day. I said, you kind of also remind me a little bit of Belinda Carlisle, and she gets that a fair amount.
Right. Well, you know, if you need more music on the show, I'm sure that her ukulele band could contribute.
Well, you know, one of the things that we're looking at doing, you know, later on is kind of a Cabonauts evening. And we'll have the dancers, the Cabonauts, and our music, and also we'll put things together, other acts. So, for example, you know, we mention it to Miracle. We'll see if it goes anywhere. But her and her fiance, they do the Jukebox Hero group. They could be part of the evening, and other, you know, people who are musical could be part of the evening too. So we'll see where that all takes us down the road.
All right. Well, we talked a lot about Nichelle and a little bit about your role in Cabonauts. Tell us about the other two regulars in the Cabonauts.
Norm Thoming, who performs regularly here in LA at opening night, the musical at Improv Olympic at I.O. He's a great actor, a great-looking guy, really just nails the role. And he performs, like I say, in this opening night. It's an improvised hour-long musical every Friday night that they do. And that was actually the launching pad to make the Cabonauts a musical in the first place.
Okay.
It never was. And when I started to talk to Norm about casting him in this role, I started to wonder how we could use music as part of the show with Norm's background. So it wasn't influenced by the Dr. Horribles or anything else. It was literally talking to Norm and realizing that there was possibly something there. So that's Norm, who's just absolutely phenomenal. And then Monica Young, who I've worked with on Goodnight Burbank. She plays Lolita, the holographic computer dispatch unit that my character Cyril has a huge crush on. And Lolita is going to have her own kind of AI life. You know, she performs in an artificial intelligence cover band with other computer dispatch units on the weekend. And we're going to see a lot more of her too. And in real life, Monica is a phenomenal singer. I mean, just what a voice on her. And you can see a little bit of it in the trailer. We put a little snippet there. And she's a great dancer too. And so having, you know, those skills with a beautiful actress, a beautifully talented actress, really helps out too. So I think the two of them are really solid and really bring a lot of musical talent as well as acting talent to the proceeding.
Now, I know you're being distributed through what's a company you said that you're going to be working with?
Well, the Daily Motion. Daily Motion gets each episode for 1 month, and then we do what we want with it. And we're looking into what that second month and so on, and we'll you know where it goes and all that kind of stuff. But we're also going to be developing the Cabonauts.com, the website out right now. It's just WordPress site, so it was kind of pre-production mode. So we're just posting there little blogs and pictures and whatnot. But when the show finally does go live, the website will have this complete flash makeover and will be completely different to what's there now. And there'll be all kinds of ways for fans to engage and interact with the show. Get your own, Space Cab license. Interact.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, we're talking to some amazing technological, the tech people right now about what we're going to bring to the site and the user experience, because we want it to be kind of unique and unlike a lot of stuff that's out there, and just really fun and engaging. So So we're working on that too right now, on what that's going to look like.
And will that still be will that replace the current WordPress site then?
Yes. I mean, it's the same URL, but it will that site will, the look and the feel of the site will disappear. And you'll basically kind of navigate through the site through the dashboard of the Scarab, which will be, on the site all in Flash form. And characters like Lolita and Grandma, who's, Nichelle's clone brain grandmother, sits on her desk. And we think the few people that have seen the early version of the pilot so far all seem to really like the Grandma character. So we think there might be something there with her. So we'll have her on the site as well.
Okay, very good. And that website is for our listener what? How did it get to you?
Thecabonauts.com.
Yeah, pretty simple. Pretty simple.
Yeah, and it's CAB as in boy, ONAUTS.
All right, Cabonauts.com. And they can also follow you on Twitter for updates as well?
Yeah, I mean, my personal Twitter account is @HaydenBlack, and the Cabonauts Twitter account is @thecabonauts.
So pretty straightforward there as well.
Yeah, trying to keep it simple.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, if you ever want some other feedback in that pilot, Miles and I would love to be able to just take a preview of that sometime. So,
are you guys hitting Chicago next week?
Oh man, we're pretty far from Chicago. We have a 15-hour drive to Chicago, 10-hour drive,
or a 3-hour plane ride.
Yeah,
or something like that.
We probably won't be. So,
not this year.
But unfortunately not. So we'd love to actually. We would have loved to be. We would have loved to have been at San Diego this past weekend too, but.
It was crazy. I'd never been to a Comic-Con before, and I just did not stop working for 3 days.
I'll bet. But it gave what an opportunity, though, for you to expose your show and to kind of get it out there.
Oh, it was great, and we got such good buzz, and it was worth the fact that I came back and pretty much collapsed for a day,
Yeah. Well, when you think of Comic-Con, you think of a lot of the big names, but it has to be a great place. I know it's a great place for shows like The Guild that have been going now, and they're heading into the 3rd season. And so even some of these smaller web shows, and this is really what this is, really a web show, which has been kind of cool. So it has to be a great place to kind of promote that, because it is at least one of the futures of our video and our technology. So.
Well, it's where it's going, and I think that at the end of the day, obviously a core audience are going to be there. The mailing list that we're assembling are people that want to know about the show. They're not just giving up their email because they want something else or whatever. This is for people who want to find out, what Nichelle's doing, and Miracle and James and so on and so forth. And it was a great opportunity too to talk to some. I caught up with one of the main cast of Lost while we were there, and talked to him about doing an appearance. And he said yes. We'll see what that translates to later on. But It was a great way of also connecting with some people.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Hayden, for coming on the show. And we'll probably be putting this up on our as a part of our show in the upcoming weeks when we actually put together our next show. Our next show we're going to be recording tonight, but we have another interview scheduled that was recorded earlier about Harry Potter, which I did not see, but we interviewed someone about that. So, but did you see the new? Go ahead.
I have not seen the new Harry Potter. I have been so busy, I have not seen anything. I want to go see. Bruno is top of the list for me to go see, but by the time I'm around, it'll be on cable, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just so big.
Yeah, it is. Well, thank you again for coming on the show tonight. Thanks for having me.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, it was great. And who knows, maybe when we get you like right before the release date, we can kind of hook up again and maybe do a little chat about it. Maybe not a full show, but maybe have you on for 5-10 minutes to kind of talk about it.
Most definitely, and we could probably get James along and some of the other cast.
Oh, that would be great. Well, yeah, we'll talk about. You're following me on Twitter. We'll hook up on Twitter a little bit and maybe chat about that. And if we can kind of make that happen, let's make it happen.
I like the sound of that.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot.
Take care, Hayden.
Thanks, guys. It was good talking.
All right. Bye.